I got up early that morning. I was going to go to work to hook up a generator before the Hurricane Charlie moved into Florida. When I left that morning, I just figured it was any other day. I guess you don't wake up in the morning thinking that you're gonna be in an accident.
911, what's your emergency?
We need an ambulance quickly. We just had an accident.
Sometimes when you get in that kind of situation, you kind of just have to break it down to the hour and the minute, because if you look at the whole day, it's pretty overwhelming.
What's the problem?
My coworker, he's badly burned. He just got caught in a fire.
Is he
Flash arc fire.
Is he conscious?
Yeah, he's conscious.
I haven't done this 1,000 times. I've been an electrician for 20 years. I didn't need to wear my gear that day. I guess I was too good for it.
Can you tell me how many have been injured?
He's the only one, but he's in shock. He's got severe burns.
Donnie's service call was to go out, hook up the wires from the temporary generator into the main panel, which he's done many times over.
My job for the day was to hook up a 3,000 amp generator to a 3,000 amp electrical service. After I tested the generator power, I went into the main building electrical to test it. And I opened up a small panel for their main switchgear, their main breaker panel for the entire building. I clipped A phase with one alligator clip. I clipped B phase, and as I went to clip C phase, the meter blew up and blew a puff of carbon into the electrical box. Well, this set off an electrical explosion between all three phases.
We got a phone call that there was an accident. I was told that there was a flash in the electric room, and the electrician on site was injured.
I didn't realize at that time how badly I was hurt. The one maintenance man told me later that he thought I was dead because there was no way somebody could stay alive through that explosion. Looked down at my arms and hands, and I realized I was really burned up this time.
They told me my husband was calling, but it wasn't. It was another man. And he just said, I just have to let you know your husband's been in an accident. He'll be going to Tampa General, but he is walking and talking. I just literally threw the phone, grabbed my purse, and ran. And all the way down the road to the hospital, I was wondering, who do I call? What do I do?
One of the first things I thought was, this doesn't happen to me. You know, this is something that you hear about in the safety films, or somebody's friend that had this happen to them. It doesn't really happen to me.
They didn't recognize him because he was charred black. That was hard to see. Then he started getting infections. And I remember sitting there being talked to as if he may not make it through this. His waking up was very slow. It was just opening the eyes at first and not really being able to talk. I think he, like the first day, he was asked to respond by blinking.
After that point, they tell me I was asleep for a month and a half.
Once he woke up, I felt like, okay, now we're getting better. Now it's on the way up. And I don't think that any of us realized how long the recovery would be.
One of the first memories I have is my son walking into the hospital room across the foot of the bed.
When I first talked to my dad after he woke up, I saw he was definitely still the same person, but his body was just so small and shriveled, and he'd been through surgeries at that point. Later on, the number would total to about 6 or 7, and he'd have to go through hours and hours of therapy and rehab. He had to relearn how to walk. He had to relearn how to use his arms.
You know, I told my wife once before we got married that as long as I had these, we would have money. Well, I almost didn't have these. I almost lost my life altogether because I wasn't wearing the protection.
Less than 3 minutes of putting on his safety equipment would have prevented him from being in a coma for over 30 days, as well as a year plus recovery.
Being safe is a lot easier than putting yourself through and your friends through and your family through what my family and I and my dad had to go through. It's just easier to put on your safety equipment.
If you would have taken that 2 to 10 minutes of time to put the gear on, work a little bit slower, it really makes you think that it's okay to be a half hour late.
As fortunate and blessed as I feel today, I could have avoided all of this that I put my family through, that I put myself through, if I'd have just taken that 3 minutes to wear my PPE.